Hi everyone, my name's Ivaila and today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips and tricks for gearing up your ults effectively and efficiently in patch 9.2. In this video, we're going to cover how to use your main to give your ult a head start with the help of bind on account items, how to effectively use the creation catalyst to get your tier set rolling as soon as possible, how to get at least one of your 2 legendaries with the Memory of Unity, as well as open world content in Zereth Mortis such as Treaures, Rares, Wild Quests, Cypher equipment, and more to help you get started on gearing up your ults for endgame content. Feel free to check the timestamps in the description below for any specific areas you need help with. Step 1 of setting up your ult actually begins with your main character, as we're going to be sending a bunch of bind on account or BOA items from your main to your ult to get them off the ground. On your main, head to the Flightmaster in Oribus and speak to the broker called Odara standing next to them. For 500 gold, Odara will sell you a broker mark of distinction, which will instantly raise your ult's renown with their current covenant to level 40. For another 500 gold, you can purchase the Incense of Infinity, which, when used, teaches your ult every conduit to them at item level 200. Next, take your ult to Zereth Mortis and head over to Exile's Hollow and speak to the Giro vendor Olia Manu outside Firim's cave. If Olia Manu isn't there, it's probably because you either haven't learned Altonian Understanding from your Cypher console, and or you haven't completed the Giro to Hero questline to unlock the Giro in the first place. The questline starts with the quest Broken Circle. Once you've got Olia Manu unlocked as a vendor, they will sell you the improvised Cypher analysis tool for 150 ciphers, which permanently increases the amount of ciphers your character earns by 50%. This is especially important later on when we look at Cypher equipment as a way of gearing up your ult. Finally, take your main over to Haven and speak to Haja, the Enlightened Provisioner, who can offer you item level 226 BOA gear in every slot for 500 anima each, which you can send to your ults. Wearing a full set of 226 gear will allow you to queue for every wing of the Sepulchre of the First One's raid on LFR difficulty, where you can get item level 239 to 246 gear, if raiding is something you're interested in, as it's also one way of getting your tier pieces. Alternatively, if you have the gold to spare, you can find higher item level gear on the auction house, as well as your legendary base items of course, but we'll get onto that a bit later. You'll see in this video just how quickly you can get your hands on higher item level gear pieces just through open world content in Zereth Mortis, so don't worry too much about fully gearing up your ults at this stage. This next step isn't specific to patch 9.2, but it will help you start out the gate a bit stronger than if you were to skip this step. On your ult, make sure you at least check into your Covenant Hall and skip through the campaign to unlock your Soulbind tree. Here, you can use your Broker Mark of Distinction to instantly earn level 40 renown, as well as your Incense of Infinity to learn every conduit at item level 200. As you can see, the entire Soulbind tree becomes immediately available to me once I've used these items, so I will instantly be a bit stronger in open world content out in Zereth Mortis. To skip ahead to Zereth Mortis, on your ult, speak to Talinara in the Enclave in Oribus, who will give you a prompt to skip the Zereth Mortis intro questline and instantly gain access to Zereth Mortis as well as unlocking Poke. While in Oribus, also speak with Bolvar to skip ahead in the campaign and unlock the Rune Carver for crafting legendaries. This will be useful later on. When you first arrive in Zereth Mortis, there will be an overwhelming amount of content at first, but we're only going to focus on a few key things specific to gearing up. Firstly, there are treasures dotted all around the zone which have a chance to contain item level 236 gear, which is already higher than the item level 226 anima gear we looked at a moment ago. I use an add-on called Handy Notes to show me the treasures and rares on my map so that I can more efficiently farm them for more chances at gear. If you're mostly an open world player who doesn't focus on raiding Mythic Plus or PvP, this is a great first step for you. Let's talk Legendaries. Back at Haven when you first spawn into the zone, Bolvar will be there with a quest called Legendary Assistance, which prompts you to speak to Velo, the Enlightened Quartermaster, to see what he can offer you. However, you should have unlocked the Memory of Unity already on your main character as long as you have played through the campaign and reached a revered reputation with the Enlightened in order to purchase the Memory of Unity. The Memory of Unity is account-wide, so your ult will already have access to it. All they will need is the legendary base item, which you can either purchase from the auction house at any rank, or you can play through the campaign again on your ults and finish chapter 7 to be given a legendary belt item at item level 265 for free if you don't have the gold to spare. If you're purchasing the legendary base item, remember that Unity can be crafted onto any regular legendary item slot. That's everything excluding trinkets and weapons. So it would be best to craft it onto a slot that isn't already occupied by a tier set bonus slot such as head, shoulders, chest, hands and legs. As for your second legendary, you can send crafting materials such as soul ash and soul cinders from your main to your ult so that you don't have to run Torghast. To do this, take your main to Korthia and speak to Bonesmith Airmere to convert your soul cinders and soul ash into BOA items for you to mail to your ult. There is a 50 soul cinder / soul ash transfer fee for each stack you make. All you should need is the legendary power if you don't have it on that class already, as well as your legendary base item and 2 missives. Your ult should already have immediate access to the creation catalyst located in the Catalyst Gardens in the south of Zereth Mortis. Here, you can get your tier set rolling immediately if you have gear pieces that are eligible to be transformed into tier, such as Sepulchre of the First One's raid boss loot, Mythic Plus loot, PvP gear, all 3 of which include gear acquired from the Great Vault, as well as Sandworn Relic gear you can get if you're an open world player only, and gear that drops from Antros, the world boss located on Antecedent Isle in the north of the zone. When you're choosing gear to transform into tier, it might be wise to choose pieces that originally drop from raid bosses later on in the Sepulchre of the First One's raid, as they tend to be more difficult to defeat. For example, Anduin has a chance to drop the tier helmet item, but he can be difficult for groups to kill if they aren't a regular organised raid team. But with the creation catalyst, you could make yourself a tier helmet without even having to kill him. Tier set bonuses can provide a great deal of throughput for your character, but remember that tier set bonuses are only available on 5 slots: head, shoulders, chest, hands and legs. So if you were to transform a pair of bracers into tier, you would not gain any tier set bonus, even if it's your 2nd or 4th tier piece, because wrists do not fall into the 5 tier bonus slots. Finally, you will see from my options here that I could transform my chest piece into tier gear, which I got to drop from Antros the world boss. But gear dropped by him does not have an upgrade pathway, unlike the helmet which I got from a mythic dungeon. This means that I will eventually have to find another chest piece at a higher item level, or from a source that provides an upgrade pathway, such as Mythic Plus or PvP, so that I can continue to upgrade it over time without having to continuously replace the item entirely. Since I got my headpiece as a drop from a mythic dungeon, I will then be able to upgrade that piece over time with my Valor points, rather than having to replace it. So I went for that option for now. The only other component required for making tier pieces is Cosmic Flux, which can be farmed through a variety of different content. Zereth Mortis daily quests and world quests offer 75 Cosmic Flux each. The weekly Patterns Within Patterns Zereth Mortis quest offers 400. Rares can offer between 50 to 75. Small treasures can give you 10 to 14. And rare treasures can give you 200 each the first time that you open them. Sepulchre of the First One's raid bosses drop 100 Cosmic Flux each. Completing a Mythic Plus dungeon can grant you between 87 to 100 Cosmic Flux. And Torghast layers 13 and above can give you up to 100 Cosmic Flux if you do layers 13 through to 16. Another way to gear up your ult in patch 9.2 is through the open world Zereth Mortis content. Let's start with Cypher Research. Remember that improvised Cypher analysis tool we bought earlier? Now is the time to use that. If you interact with the Cypher Research console in Firim's Cave in Exile's Hollow, you will see a Cypher equipment level displayed in the top left corner of the interface. You will start at Cypher level 1 of 6, and you can increase this over time by spending Cyphers on research within the console to gradually improve your quality of life while doing open world content in Zereth Mortis. For example, making your Pokepoke more powerful, gaining more buffs with longer durations from the enhancement console, as well as spawning Jiro around the map who will buff you depending on which Jiro you speak to, and much more. But what's great about your Cypher research level is that it increases the item level of gear you acquire in Zereth Mortis through world quests and Cypher equipment gear as you increase your research level. At research level 1 of 6, you can get item level 233 gear, up to research level 6, where the same gear will drop at item level 252. Finally, I wanted to highlight Emissaries as another way of gaining a quick but very valuable upgrade to a piece of gear, but this is optional depending on the kind of content you like to play and which emissary is currently active for you. A couple of noteworthy emissaries to be on the lookout for are Time Walking Emissaries, which award a piece of item level 252 plus gear for completing 5 Time Walking dungeons, and the Emissary of War, which awards a piece of item level 265 or higher gear for completing 4 Mythic dungeons. Remember, these dungeons don't have to be Mythic Keystones, you can complete them as Mythic Zeros as they will still count towards the Emissary. And there you have it, those were my tips for effectively gearing a fresh level 60 ult in patch 9.2. I hope you found this video helpful, and if so, please do give me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate your support. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more content from me in the future, and leave a comment if there is anything you would like to see me cover in another video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!